Always Irish show. Notre Dame. That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks, to a Where Will Notre Dame Land in the initial CFP poll edition of the Always Irish show. It's coming up tonight. America can't wait. As always, thanks for being here. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Yanni out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss a darn thing. Twitter, search bar, always. Spit it out, dummy. Search bar, Always Irish, or at Always Irish. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you could get it. If you don't want to see my silly face, nobody blames you. Audio only, anywhere you want it, you could get it. Notre Dame on SI. Read all about it. Patreon.com/alwaysirish. Oh, we got the team together. It's a dream team over there. We got it rocking. We got it rolling. The film breakdowns, the chat feature, Monday Night Raw, anything you want. Link in the description. Join us. Okay. Let's set the scene. Notre Dame is in a position where they don't control their own destiny fully. You could hope that at 10-2, they're in automatically or whatever, but that's not a sure thing. We need to start this conversation by admitting Notre Dame lost their first two games. That's not okay. That's our fault. We weren't ready for the moment. We blew those games, and there may be consequences for that. That's your fault, Notre Dame. That's your fault. So, before we get into how this may go or why or whatever, we need to acknowledge when you start out 0-2 and you do it the way we did, beggars don't get to be choosers. You put yourself behind the eight ball because you didn't know how to play defense for 2 weeks. So that's your fault, Notre Dame. So we need to start by acknowledging Notre Dame put itself in a position to hope the committee views them favorably and then play the loser game of, oh, I need 8 other teams to lose so we can move up. If you just take care of your own damn business, you don't have these worries in November. But you didn't. And even though it feels like a 2-game season and everything else, it was 1 year and it all matters. So you put yourself in this position to need help or to need the committee to look at you favorably. You did that. And I'm still not over it. It's not okay. Especially the A&M one. You gave it away at your place. You came out of an off week where you knew you had a bad defensive problem and you gave up 900 points in your building to A&M. That's your fault. Now, that being said, as I've said many, many times before, the first and the last CFP rankings are the most important. For the first one, you're going to see how the committee is thinking. What are they valuing? Who are they valuing? Who are they not valuing? And why and how much? Right now, nobody knows. Right now, nobody knows. The most any of us have to go off of now is the AP and the coaches poll. And that doesn't necessarily translate to the CFP poll. If it did, I think Notre Dame people are pretty damn happy sitting at number 10. That's about as good as you could ask for given our 2 losses. You don't know. I could see Notre Dame 10, 11, 12, 13. It wouldn't surprise me. So I never have a clear understanding of the metrics the committee uses to weigh all this out. In my opinion, what I see is sometimes it feels like reverse engineering. They know what they want to do. Then they find the reason to justify it, right? Not like having a set of metrics and then that leads to the teams. Sometimes it comes off to me like they know what they want to do and then they got to find a reason to make it make sense to present. So I don't know. Typical Notre Dame fashion. Things are complicated. How is this committee going to view Notre Dame's resume? 2 losses, the first 2 games by 4 points to what used to look like 2 good teams. Now it only looks like 1 good team. Miami takes that second loss. They dropped all the way to 18 in the AP poll. For everybody saying, what about head-to-head? The AP and the coaches didn't care about that a lick. Dropped them like a rock. So I don't know. Does the CFP agree? Does Notre Dame stay behind Miami due to the head-to-head loss? Or is Miami now lost enough credibility with the SMU and their other loss that they drop and stay below Notre Dame? The other thing, I'm telling you, Miami's going to lose again. Bad November team. Their point output is half what it was in September. They leak oil down the stretch. I think they're going to catch another loss. So Notre Dame no longer will be able to use the good loss theory with Miami. But I'm telling you, I'd be shocked if they didn't lose again. You don't have to worry about it then. They'll have 3 permanently below you. I don't know. Syracuse, NC State, Vatech, Pitt. They're going to lose another dumb one. Telling you, they are. It's what they do every November. 200 winning percentage under Mario in November. Rough. Conference record, I think it's like 5-11. Rough. November's bad for Miami. So, I don't know. How much does Notre Dame not covering that spread against BC hurt the Irish, which is what everybody was mad about in the postgame show? Didn't seem to hurt at all in the AP and the coaches poll. Will the CFP poll match that? There was enough going on around the country to kind of distract from Notre Dame dragging ass against BC. And I wonder if some people just be like, okay, you won it by more than 2 touchdowns on the road against a rival. Keep it moving. At least you're not Vandy. At least you're not Miami. Like teams added you to loss. Georgia Tech, whatever. Could have been worse.
Always Irish Patreon with the Goolsby and Kennedy Show, Monday Night Raw.
Welcome back, folks. Look at what we have here. Notre Dame's on a winning streak.
Hyde's Huddle.
But really excited, man. I've spent a lot of time last night breaking this thing down. I've been playing around with this thing tonight as well. Getting ready to watch some football. Hopefully you guys learn a little bit.
Defensive film reviews of every game with Tim Hyde.
It's a stand-up guy. Well, there's your 3 down, your 3 backers, your 5 DBs. 3, 3, 5.
Film reviews of the offense with Coach Jared Clark.
Rub and then run a big corner here.
Opponent previews with Jack Sullivan.
We are with you with another Notre Dame opponent preview.
Goolsby's player perspectives.
So we're in man here. Once he figures it out, he's got number 2.
And the Always Irish community chat. Stay connected and interact with other fans. It's all here. Always Irish Patreon. No holds barred Notre Dame coverage that you can't find anywhere else. Get in and get involved and go Irish.
I think there are 4 one-loss teams from the Big Ten and the SEC ranked ahead of Notre Dame. Would a second loss by any of those teams keep them ahead of Notre Dame or drop them below Notre Dame? There's 2 parts to that. How much do you value their schedules more than you value Notre Dame's? And then there's also the theory of late losses are more costly than early losses. And I think that theory is going to be tested here in November. That idea that if you're going to lose games, you want it to be early and build back up, not late. That's always been a theory. Those late losses cost you more. Is that going to hold? What about BYU and Texas Tech? Both Ed and Notre Dame in the current polls play each other this week. Do you want a second loss for Tech and then Notre Dame jumps them and then BYU's pretty much playoff lock? They're stacked right above Notre Dame. If BYU loses, if they're stacked barely above Notre Dame now, and BYU loses even though it's their first loss, do they stay ahead of Notre Dame or do they get penalized for a late loss? How much do the powers that be value those schedules in that conference? The ACC has a bunch of those, like they have like one-loss teams, but they don't end up playing each other. And then how does that all work out? Nobody really values the ACC that much, especially compared to the Big Ten and the SEC. So you have those teams on lighter schedules with them one losses going, riding it out. How does that play out? And because they could end up with multiple one-loss teams that don't end up locking horns until the ACC championship, will the committee still hold that if you make a championship game and then you lose, we don't penalize you for it? Or do they look at it differently because they're one-loss teams, but never really tested to the level you want to see because how the goofy schedules worked out in the ACC? It's like the Priest and Rudy, man. This CFP group is a squirrely bunch, and you never really know exactly where they're coming from. And so we're going to see how this reveal goes. If Notre Dame, it matches that AP poll at 10, man, you feel like you're in really good shape if you win out. No matter what else happens, you feel like you're in a good spot. However, if you end up 11, 12, 13, 14, maybe they value all those ACC one-loss teams ahead of you or something. If that's where you're at, then you're going to need more chaos, I think. You're going to just need people to knock each other. You're just, I don't know. If you end up in the mid-teens, you're going to have to pray for a lot of things to happen. And you know what? It's your fault. It's your fault. You cannot start out 0-2 and then complain about what happens to you. That's unacceptable. So if you are the final team that doesn't make it, number 13, you have yourself to blame for what you did the first 2 weeks. And I know the circumstances were tough. New quarterback, new DC, replacing a lot of leaders from last year's team. 2 tough matchups. Miami on the road, an athletic A&M team coming with a great head coach, all of that. I don't care. You can't start out 0-2 and then complain. You just can't. So if Notre Dame ends up the first team out of this thing down at the end of November, whatever, it is your fault. You could complain about what teams squeeze in ahead of you or not. If you win your games, you don't have to worry about that problem. And you didn't even have to win them both. You could have won one and lost one in the first 2 games. I'm not even expecting perfection. You could have won one and lost one and been just fine. You couldn't do that. That's your fault, Notre Dame. That's your fault. And that needs to be the next evolution of the Notre Dame program under Marcus Freeman's leadership. You need to be consistent enough that you could make it to November football with playoff leeway, not with your back against the wall from the second week of the year and you have to be perfect. That's an unacceptable, unreasonable ask every single year. Now you've done it 2 years in a row where you got to be perfect from week 2 on, game 2 on. You can't, that's not a sustainable way to live and exist. The next evolution of this program needs to be getting to November with playoff leeway and margin. Not only just to make the field, but to better position yourself for whatever the matchups might be. Get to November with no losses. What a luxury. 1 loss. You know you're hosting a home game. It just couldn't be 2, man. Just couldn't be 2. So you got to figure out how to get through September without these bad things happening and all that. Find some stability. So this is really interesting. Wait and see. High end, it matches the AP poll. Notre Dame's around 10. You feel really good. On the low end, 12, 13, 14. See who's above you, who they have left. You got to win out and have some dominoes fall. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Notre Dame's resume is perceived compared to everybody else. So let's hope for the best, but you cannot really complain about what you get when you start the year 0-2. I don't care who it's against. When you start 0-2, the problem is with you. Let me know what you guys think.